Can be called the heart of mass. This is the craft work that brings life to the beautiful designs of the costumes adorning the masqueraders in the kaleidoscope of color, tinctures, and tints that is Carnival. Tonight we focus on the mystique surrounding the wire bender and this art.
Wire bender extraordinaire Alvin John, who is seasoned in the mask-making field, explains that he learned his art from the masters, one genius in particular.
Yeah, well, I started making masks through Wayne Barkley, you know, as I was maybe around 19 years old when my uncle just took me to the mask camp a day and I fell in love with everything. And I started working with Wayne Barkley, and one thing led to another. I started designing, and so actually forming the designs and all that, was a big part of it. So I just entered into that.
Mr. John says that there is a difference to creating masks then and masks now.
Back then, the Carnival was different. A mask camp used to be the masqueraders coming in to help out. They would work on their own costumes, and they used copper and materials that they could have gotten easily at that time, and it was more a craft. You was making a piece.
Mr. John says even with this dynamic, the art of manipulating the bones of a costume is still in great demand.
It's not dying. To me, it just evolved into something else, right? That aspect of it, I would say less people do it.
Like the copper?
Yeah, the copper beating and all them kind of thing. It's a lengthy process to do a copper piece, and copper is expensive now. It's not as cheap as it was before. It's very expensive. Plastics is cheaper. But there's a demand for wire bending. I know because I teach it every year. I do 2 classes per year.
Mr. John explains, however, that the mask in Trinidad, while unique, is malleable, adjusting to what the mask player wants.
Our style of Carnival, our style, our techniques, how we approach things, it's different. We have to shift according to the demand for stuff. And the demand for stuff right now is a particular look.
All in all, Mr. John says, he was born for this art, this personal expression of Trinbago ethos.
This is we thing. This is we culture. When I'm making a sailor mask or a midnight rubber costume, this is ours. It feels different to make it. As a craftsman, a Trinidadian, a Caribbean person, it feels.
A master of the original wire bending techniques and the modern methods, Mr. John says it all starts with the creativity of the mask builder and ends with the reality of the costume on which you and I, Marie-Therese Bernard, we focus on Carnival Monday and a Tuesday.